Community Health Network. It's the second night of wintertainment, and you can fill your tank with endless burgers, hot dogs, and popcorn, all free with a game ticket. Also, the first 1,500 fans on Friday, December 17th will receive a Nitro Snow Globe, courtesy of IBEW Local 481. And then on Saturday the 18th, it's Teddy Bear Toss Night. Also, the third night of wintertainment, presented by Indiana Farmers Insurance. As always, one of the great nights of the year. The Fuel taking on the Kalamazoo Wings. Bring a new stuffed animal and get ready to toss it onto the ice when the Fuel score their first goal. Every fuzzy friend that is tossed on the ice on December 18th will be collected and donated to the WRTV Channel 6 Toy Drive, benefiting children around central Indiana. So get your tickets for both of those games right now at IndyFuelHockey.com, the Indiana Farmers Coliseum box office, or all Ticketmaster outlets. Getting set to begin the second period, the Indy Fuel lead the Fort Wayne Komets 1-0. The Fuel will move from left to right as you picture this rink in your mind's eye. For the middle frame, Yuri Patera in goal for Fort Wayne. Cale Morris for the Fuel. And Tommy Apap wins the draw from Will Graber. We're 5 aside to begin the period. Field tried to play it forward. It was broken up by Fort Wayne, but picked back off by Indy and sent into the right wing corner in the Fort Wayne end. Up to the point, Mike Lee fakes the slap shot, walks the line. Tried to feed Apap right circle. It was wanted away from him by Murphy. Apap and Malone hop on the puck. Malone tried to backhand it along the boards, intercepted by Murphy, and he'll feed it ahead to Graber, exits the zone. Numbers for Fort Wayne is Kellen Jones. Tried to hit the trailer, broken up by Seamus Malone. Graber hops on it and takes it out into the high slot. Comes up to the point for a shot that got all the way through on Morris, who was able to make the save on Marcus McIver's wrister through traffic that was hopping, skipping, and jumping on the way to the net. So 40 seconds into period 2. Fuel leading 1-0. Alvaro, Conger, and Petrozelli, the forward line for Fort Wayne. The Fuel counter with Thomas, Gates, and Spencer Watson. Face off to Morris's left. And Alvaro's going to be tossed out of the circle. So Conger, playing his first professional game, rookie out of Colorado College, was acquired yesterday via trade from the Utah Grizzlies. Loses the draw. Spencer Watson sends it rink wide. Jared Thomas takes it off the boards, hammers it in, but got a little too much under that one. Got out the sand wedge instead of the driver and put it over the glass. And so our officials, I think, trying to determine where the face-off should go. The Fuel are lining up as if it's going to be in the Fort Wayne end. The Komets are lining up as if it's going to be out at center. It's just a matter of which side of the line Thomas was on when he sent that in, and they're going to determine that he was on the neutral zone side of the blue line. So face-off will be outside the Fort Wayne line in front of the Fuel bench. Played 51 seconds of the second period. Jared Thomas tried to go forward with the face-off, but Alvaro wins it across the Fuel line. Right wing circle, puts on the brakes, sends it up to the point for Siebenauer, steps into one, and it's blocked. Comes to Alvaro in the circle, tried to put it out in front for Petrozelli, but his stick was tied up. Fuel play it out to center where DJ King settles it down for Fort Wayne. Siebenauer did not see a Fuel player, Lacroix, coming off the bench, who forces it free. Fuel with the puck in the zone, pass across to Teixeira, broken up at the line by Conger. And so Indy will have to regroup. Pass ahead to the Fort Wayne line is broken up enough to force Brent Gates offside, as Cedric Lacroix had already entered the zone. So we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. Again, just outside the Komets line. Both teams use the opportunity to get changes. Lacroix against Bush on the draw. And it's won by Fort Wayne. Corbin Baldwin takes it. Goes D to D in his own zone to Corcoran. Back to Baldwin. He'll skate it up. Edmonds to Germain. He tried to tip it into the zone and did, behind the net. It's chopped off of a couple of sticks, drops in the near corner, and the Fuel feed it out to center. Couldn't be handled cleanly by Riley McKay, but the next layer, Lacroix forces it forward to McKay. He curls back at neutral ice and sends it into the Fort Wayne end. Baldwin takes it below his own goal line. Shovels it to Tolkien along the far boards. He outlets to Bush. Left wing pass, Germain across the Fuel line. Germain squirts it in behind the net as he takes a hit. Lacroix takes the puck for the Fuel. Backhands it off the boards, but not out. Held in at the left point by Bush. Tried to put it into the slot, picked off by the Fuel. They tried a quick pass out of the zone for McKay. It did not connect. And Fort Wayne will work it through center. Bush will dump it in behind the Fuel goal as the Komets go to get a change. And Indy will skid it up. Mike Lee across the Fort Wayne line into the slot. Shot blocked wide by McIver. Lee goes after it and gets it. Left wing boards. Up to the point and a pass across. Sees a stick break, and this brings Kellen Jones. And what do we got? The Fuel had a shot from the point, and a stick just absolutely exploded. I think on Seamus Malone. And then Kellen Jones had a partial breakaway, and the whistle was blown behind the play, and a tripping call coming on the Fuel, but Fort Wayne was in possession. And Malone's going to sit. He had to take that penalty because otherwise it's a breakaway essentially from the Fuel line, or from the Fort Wayne line in. As Malone, they set him up for a shot from the point, and his stick just exploded on him. And that sprung Kellen Jones. Malone just reached out with the half a twig he had and tripped up Jones, but it seemed Fort Wayne was in possession when the whistle blew. So whatever the case, the Fuel win the draw and send it all the way down. Connor Corcoran behind his own net. Malone for tripping at 2:39 is the penalty. Fort Wayne is on its third power play. They're 0 for 2 tonight. Counting tonight, they're 1 for their last 17 in the last 5 1/3 plus games. Graber up to the point. Corcoran, shot from the point, deflected, goes over the net. Puck battle along the near boards. Kellen Jones tries to win it and does to Petrozelli. Now to Kellen Jones at the half wall. Banks it off the boards up to the left point for Corcoran. Walking the line. Over to the far side. Graber skates in, shoots. Not sure that got all the way through, but Morris canceled it out nonetheless. Was in good position. Petrozelli in the slot. Couldn't get the shot off as APAP tied him up, and the puck just sitting there in the circle. Finally found by Cliff Watson. He'll clear it all the way down on the Fort Wayne goal. Patera headmans to the Fuel line, and the pass behind its intended target. The Komets have to tag up as they would have been offside anyway, and that allows the Fuel to gain possession and scale it all the way down with 48 seconds to go. CJ Ike forces it free into the left wing corner in the Fort Wayne end. Riley McKay trying to battle and rag a little bit more time, but it's forced free. Boudria across the Fuel line into the left wing corner. And behind the net comes to Kirill Chaika. He finds some open ice and fires it all the way down. 27 seconds to go in Fort Wayne's power play. 15:45 to go in the second period of the game, tied at 1. Matt Murphy in his own zone for Fort Wayne across his own line. Feeds along the right wing boards to Boudria. Forced off to his stick by the Fuel, and it's scaled all the way down. Cedric Lacroix chases after it. Patera wraps it around the boards for Murphy. Lacroix forces it free from him, but Murphy gets it back. Sends it to Siebenauer behind his own net. Malone's out of the box. We're back to 5 aside. The Fuel now 3 for 3 on the kill in this game. Siebenauer chips it off the glass in behind the Fuel goal. Morris leaves for Mike Lee. Tried to play it up the boards. Picked off at the point by Germain. Tried to feed it into the slot for Ortiz. It was behind him. King settles it down at center, and Ortiz will fire it in. Morris handling the puck behind his net. Nearly turned it over. It squirts out into the high slot, and the Fuel get to it, and here they come with numbers. Across the line is Malone. Into the right circle, into the slot. He shoots. Save made. Juicy rebound into the slot. Put it right back on goal. And Patera slides to make the stop. Here's Mike Lee with it right point, and he couldn't handle the pass cleanly as he was trying to load up for a shot. Lee ahead to Cliff Watson. Bats it into the Fort Wayne end. Patera will settle it down for G.J. King. 14.5 to go, second period. Fuel lead 1-0. Got a great chance there, but Patera was able to make a couple of saves. Fort Wayne sends it in. The Fuel send it right back out. Jared Thomas at center across the Fort Wayne line, down the middle, into the right circle. Now feeds Cameron right down Main Street. Shoot, save made, rebound into the slot. Comes to King, who shovels it back out to center. Settled down there by Laguerriere. He'll fire it back into the Fort Wayne end. Patera wraps it around. And Baldwin headmans to Graber across the Fuel line to Boudreau, right wing. Laguerriere pushes him into the corner. Boudreau still on the puck. Shovels it a little further along for Kellen Jones. In front for Graber. Turnaround shot. Didn't get all of it. Tried to put a backhander on goal. Morris holds the fort and covers up for a whistle. 13:49 to go in the second period. The Fuel leading Fort Wayne 1-0. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey. If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit indianafarmers.com.
During Happy Honda Days, discover the joys of the season with unforgettable trips in an Accord, Pilot, or HR-V. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR on the 2021 Honda Accord and 0% APR on the 2022 Pilot or HR-V. Find your perfect Honda this season. Visit your local Honda dealer today or shop online.
This is my kind of holiday.
It's the Happy Honda Day sales event at your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
See dealer for financing details.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
13:49 to go in the second period. The Indy Fuel leading the Fort Wayne Komets 1-0. Andrew Smith along with you. After tonight, the Fuel will embark on a 4-game road trip. They'll have a rare Friday night off, and then they'll face the Cincinnati Cyclones on Saturday, the Wheeling Nailers on Sunday afternoon, and then next weekend they'll be in Cincinnati on a Friday night and then head to Kalamazoo on Sunday the 12th. Back to action here, the Fuel facing Fort Wayne for the third time in 15 days, and the last time until Boxing Day when the two teams will meet up at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. It'll be the first of 3 meetings between the teams there. Fuel win the defensive zone draw, but they ice the puck, so we'll do it again. Fort Wayne gets to choose the side, so they'll pick the left wing circle in the Fuel zone. Matt Alvaro to take the draw. For the Komets, and it's won by the Fuel Cedric Lacroix. Chaika fanned on the outlet pass. Petrozelli backhands it back in behind the Fuel net. Lacroix gets to it first, banked off the boards. Murphy tried to hold it in, but Yetman forced it past him. Puck sitting in the neutral zone. Lacroix sends it back to Teixeira. D to Chaika, and he'll fire it into the Fort Wayne end. Lacroix gives Murphy a bump, forces the puck free to McKay. He'll send it around the carousel all the way to the right point. Hustling over to keep it in is Teixeira. Into the right wing corner, Lacroix. He'll send it up to the center point. The pass was behind Chaika, and so he'll have to track it down in his own zone. Both teams use the opportunity to get a change. Headman pass to the Fort Wayne line. Yetman drops it off for Gates. Gates in behind the net. Gets past King. Takes it into the left wing circle. Gates toward the attacking zone. Into the high slot. Shoots. Glove save made by Patera. He holds on for a whistle. 12:49 to go. Second period. The Fuel lead 1-0. Brent Gates coming off the bench after Yetman won the puck. Took the puck all the way from the right corner out the left side and inside the top of the left wing circle. Fired that one on goal, but Patera had a pretty clean look at it. Goaltending for Fort Wayne has been fantastic this year between Patera and Samuel Harvey. Harvey is not dressed tonight due to an apparent illness. So they've got an emergency backup dressed. They've signed a goaltender from the Southern Professional Hockey League who will likely join the team for the 2 games against Iowa this weekend in Fort Wayne. Komets send it in. Mike Lee up the far side. Rink-wide pass through the neutral zone. Right to the tape of Jared Thomas. Feeds it across Spencer Watson. Down Main Street. Fires from the right wing circle. Blocker save Patera. Lee tries to hold it in at the point and does. Feeds it along the boards. Back diagonal feed. Cliff Watson tried to fire it goalward, but a diving block made by DJ King. Siebenthaler settles it down into zone for Fort Wayne. Headman's the fuel line, tipped into the zone, and out of play off the stick of Tyler Bush. Face-off will be at neutral ice. 12:03 to go in the second period. Tyler Bush of Fort Wayne, contracted to the Henderson Silver Knights. He's played 4 games for them. They've had a number of guys who've played in the American Hockey League this year. Connor Corcoran, Blake Siebenthaler, both have played for Henderson. Matt Murphy's played a number of games in Belleville. Stephen Harper right now is in Chicago, and their captain Matthew Bowdens is in Henderson. So they've had some interesting lineups. Have had a number of defensemen skating as forwards, and they've got a couple doing so again tonight. Puck in behind the fuel net. Kellen Jones with a turnaround shot as he tried to wrap around, and Cale Morris held the near post and covers up for a whistle. With 11:50 to go in the second period. Right now, Cedric Lacroix, the only goal scorer of the game, coming at 16-19 to the first from the power play, giving the Fuel a 1-0 lead. Will Graber, speaking of defensemen playing forward, although he did play forward at Dartmouth where he was a collegian for 4 years, takes the draw, but the Fuel win it. Chris Cameron leaves for LeGarrier, tried to reverse it back to Cameron, but he had headed up ice, so he has to track back to his own right wing corner. Sends it up the boards, it's chopped free, and in behind the net. Nobody knew where it was. LeGarrier finds it, chips it up the far side, up to the point where CGI can't get it out. Held in nicely by Murphy. And the Fuel able to corral the puck, get it as far as the Fort Wayne line, but they have a quick re-entry. Boudria, left circle, wrist one just wide of the right post. McIver pinches down, feeds Boudria in the right wing corner, working on APAP. Boudria is able to shake free of him. Feed Graber for a shot blocker, save made by Morris. Matt Murphy shoots, positional save made on the shot from the outside of the left wing circle. Played up to the point for Graber. Graber is forced out to neutral ice, so he has to backtrack back to his own line. The Fuel will make a change as the Komets play it into the Indy zone. Chris Cameron goes back to get at the Komets now. Changing, the Fuel turn it over. Here's Conjure, feeds it across, and a back diagonal pass. Doesn't find its intended target, looking for Petrozelli. 2-on-1, developing for the Fuel. McKay sends it across for a one-timer to goal! The Fuel lead it 2-0 as Chad Yetman comes right down the middle, takes the feed from Riley McKay, and hammers it past Patera on the blocker side, and the Fuel lead it 2-0 as Chad Yetman scores his first goal in 9 games. Quick transition for the Fuel. They had numbers. McKay, right circle, hit the trailer. Yetman, and caught it on the one-timer side. Chad Yetman, who had a really scorching start to the year, has his 5th goal and 14th point. Fuel turn it over at the line as we're back to action. Petrozelli shakes past the check. Right circle, has his stick left in. The puck still goes goalward, and Morris is able to fall on it to get a whistle. Riley McKay, the lone assist on Yetman's goal at 9:22. Yetman's 5th of the year, giving the Fuel a 2-0 lead. It's the first time in a while the Fuel have had a 2-goal lead since November 19th, when they beat Wheeling 5-2. Face off in the Fuel end, 10:18 to go second period. Tyler Bush wins it, shot right off the face-off. Off the stick of Germain, goes wide. And the Fuel clear it back into the Fort Wayne end. Corcoran leaves for Germain, he'll wind it up. And now is forced to put on the brakes and start the breakout again. Drops it off for Corbin Baldwin, one of 5 veterans on the Fort Wayne roster. You're allowed to dress 4. Sean Sadlowski, the 5th, is on injured reserve. The Jones twins and Zach Tolkinen are the others. Connor is not in the lineup tonight. Fuel headman to the line to Chad Yetman, who's just scored. He's warded off the puck by Siebenauer. Chips it along the far boards. Foot race. Getman wins it. Sends it across to Mike Lee. Has some space. Right circle. Takes it into the slot. Shoots. Stick save made by Patera. Rebound loose at the top of the crease, but cleared out of danger by Boudreau of Fort Wayne. Bush backhands it at his own line, just to an open wing where Siebenauer hops on it. Back across for Bush. Tries to headman to the fuel line and does to Germain, who will send it into the fuelette. Komets go for a change. 9:12 to go, second period. Indy leads 2-0. They try a stretch pass for C.J. Ike that does not connect, so the fuel ice the puck. With 9:08 to go in period number 2. Tonight, it's Fort Wayne. Saturday in Cincy, Sunday in Wheeling. The next home game, December 17th, against the Cincinnati Cyclones. Fuel win the defensive zone draw. Mike Lee along the far boards, able to spike it free from Graber, and the puck chopped out. It's a rolling puck, and will have enough for icing as Fuel tried to bank it off the boards, and it got up on edge. And as a result, kind of rolled all the way down for another icing. Fort Wayne chooses to have the face-off in the left wing circle this time. Will Graber will take it. And he's been really good as a center. Started the year as a defenseman for Fort Wayne, as we've talked about, but has been forced into forward duty and has been really, really solid playing up top. He's got 9 points in 9 games. And is able to win the draw from Tommy Apap. Up to the point for Murphy. And behind the net, Kellen Jones. Now to Graber, left corner. Takes it along the boards, tries to shake free from Apap. Now behind the net, Graber pops out the right side. Apap following him. Graber still on the puck. Cycles it in for Boudreau, who's back after missing a few games with an injury. Cliff Watson trying to work him over. Apap takes the puck, squirts it along the far boards, but McIver's able to one-hand it in briefly, but then the Fuel clear, and the goaltender Patera leaves it for Murphy. Headmans to the Fuel line. Pass doesn't connect. Icing is called on Fort Wayne. So we'll have an offensive zone draw for Indy with 8:22 to go in the second period. Cedric Lacroix on the power play. Chad Getman on a 2-on-1. The goal scorers. The Fuel lead 2-0. Keone Teixeira and Riley McKay have the assists, respectively. Single assist on each goal. Jared Thomas to take the draw. Right wing circle after the icing. Wins it. Spencer Watson up to the point for Chris Cameron. Wrists it into the right wing corner for Thomas. And he's trying to win it away from Graber, but Murphy takes it, sends it up to the point, picked off by Cameron. He wrists one that is blocked in front by McIver. Spencer Watson was hunting the puck in the low slot, but Fort Wayne's able to get it out of danger as far as the point. Cameron wrists it wide from there. Spencer Watson backhands it into the left wing corner for Brent Gates. Gates trying to shake free of Kellen Jones, protecting the puck into the slot. Watson with a turnaround shot blocked into the near corner by Murphy. Fort Wayne's Marcus McIver, second-year pro, wearing the alternate captain's A, ahead to Murphy. He'll send it to the Fuel line. Spencer Watson collects there, goes D to D, and the Fuel headman it to Gates, takes it on the backhand, gains the line at the right point, takes the forehand, looks for Spencer Watson coming down Main Street. Pass was behind him. Watson in the left wing corner, working on Alvaro. Sends it up to the point, and the puck cycled right back in behind the net. Jared Thomas with it, right circle, sends it across for Spencer Watson, make that Chad Getman coming off the bench, and he just couldn't do anything with it. Fort Wayne takes the puck and clears it into the Fuel bench. So we have a whistle with 7:15 to go in the second period. The Fuel leading 2-0. Indy looking to snap a 4-game skid tonight. When these two teams played Saturday, they were both on 3-game losing streaks, with the most recent an overtime loss to Toledo. Fort Wayne's coming last Thursday. The Fuel's coming last Friday. And Fort Wayne ended up winning that game 3-2. The Fuel trying to reverse that decision tonight. Fort Wayne sends it in behind the Fuel net. Teixeira trying to get through a 2-man forecheck. And Conjure couldn't handle the puck in the far circle. The Fuel skate it the other way. Maybe a 3-on-2 across the line, as Riley McKay has it played off of his stick. Conjure will take it the other way with Alvaro. Corcoran joining the rush. Alvaro left circle, wrists it wide. Corcoran hops on it, far boards, takes a hit, but moves it to Condra. Up to the point, Germain wrists it wide of the right post, takes a lively carom off the inboards, comes right to Cale Morris, who covers up for a whistle with 6:32 to go in period number 2. Fuel lead 2-0. Just 7 meetings between these two teams this season. This is number 3. The two teams have split the first 2. The Fuel winning 1-0 back on November 17th. Fort Wayne winning 3-2 last Saturday. Faceoff will be in the Fuel end. Jared Thomas to take it against Tyler Bush. 6:32 to go in the second period. And the Fuel win it. Cliff Watson takes it behind his own net. We'll start the breakout up the near side. And a pass broken up. It comes right to Cliff Watson. He'll skid it across the Fort Wayne line with speed. Leave it for Gates at the right point. Trying a seam pass that was broken up by the Komets and picked off by Alvaro. He'll wrist it in. Cale Morris fires it along the far boards. Mike Lee gets to it. Short pass ahead. Rink wide feed to Thomas. Up the near boards, Jared Thomas. Across for a shot that goes high and wide off the stick of Cliff Watson as he was coming in from the left wing circle. Puck rimmed around, and Spencer Watson gets to it. Tried to feed it across for Jared Thomas, picked off by Fort Wayne. Blake Siebenaller with it at center. Across center red. Feeds Graber right down Main Street. Tried to play it across, but a good diving block by Cliff Watson to break up a 2-on-1 for Fort Wayne. Boudria stops the Fuel's exit at their own zone as Keegan Iverson wins the puck. And the Fuel play it to the Fort Wayne line. Lob it to Tommy Apap. Takes it behind the net. Murphy forces him wide. Shovels it up to the point for a wrister that's deflected wide off the stick of Leguerrier. Seamus Malone with it along the right wing boards, protecting the puck. Backhands it further along, a little past Cameron, but comes into the right wing corner. And a puck battle ensues as Tommy Apap tries to win it, but Will Graber does for Fort Wayne. We'll settle it down. Marcus McIver along the left wing boards, exits the zone, brings it across center red, fires it in wide of the goal. Morris will leave it for Chris Cameron. Up the far side, and the Fuel play it out to center. CJ Ike will fire it in on goal from neutral ice. Calmly sticked aside by Patera as Corcoran moves the puck along the far boards, but the Fuel keep it in. Malone to Lacroix. Further along in the cycle to Yetman in the left wing corner. Yetman with a second goal of this game. The Fuel lead at 2-0. 4:35 to go in the second period as Cameron wires it in. Again on goal from neutral ice. Patera with a stick save, but he didn't handle it cleanly and had to cover the puck. So the Fuel will have an offensive zone face-off when we come back. 4:29 to go in the second period. Indy leads 2-0. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, business manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
When you get care at Community Health Network, you're part of our community. And in our community, nothing should get between you and your health, not even the cost of care. When the time comes, our advocacy team will help you figure it out, whether you're uninsured or underinsured, so you can focus on what really matters, your health. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Get support at ecommunity.com/simplydelivered.
Stand by me.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
4:29 to go, second period. The Indy Fuel leading the Fort Wayne Komets 2-0. Andrew Smith along with you. Shots on goal, 14-13 in favor of the Fuel, 9-5 in this period in Indy's favor. The only goals coming from Cedric Lacroix at 16:19 of the first on the power play, and Chad Yetman at 9:22 of the second period. Yetman to take the draw, right wing circle in between Lacroix and McKay, and the Komets win it. Conjure across center red, fires it wide of the goal. Puck in along the near boards, won by the Fuel. Ahead comes Riley McKay across the Fort Wayne line, tried to take it to the slot, but the puck wouldn't come with him as Alvaro forces it free. Teixeira collects at his own line. Headman's to the Fort Wayne line. Yetman back into the zone. Drops from McKay. Right circle. Shoot. Save made. McKay puts a rebound right back on goal. Save made again by Patera. Lacroix hops on the rebound. Into the high slot for Yetman. Tries to get past Petrozelli, but he can't get through a triangle of Komets. And Fort Wayne takes the puck and carries it out to center. Alvaro will dump it in. Going back to get it, Kirill Chaika for Indy. He'll skate it up near the far boards. Got it as far as the Fort Wayne line. Then it's punched past Siebenauer. DJ King goes back to get it for Fort Wayne. 3.5 to go in the second period. Ortiz backhands it into the fuel zone, looking for Germain. It's forced free from him. And Cliff Watson banks it off the boards out to center. And Bush sent it right back in, but it had exited the line, and Germain had not exited the zone. So we'll have a face-off just outside the fuel line. 3:20 to go in period number 2. Lacroix and Yetman with the goals for Indy. Fuel looking to even their record at home this year, 3-4 on friendly ice. Fort Wayne's been pretty good away from home, 4-3-1. They've been 5-1-1 at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. Face off outside the fuel line, won by Indy, and they're able to punch it out to center where Siebenauer takes it for Fort Wayne. Back to his own line, D to King. Headman's to the red line where Graber shovels it into the fuel end. Mike Lee goes to get it. 4 checkers come, chips it off the glass and out to center. King will track it down. Now Siebenauer at his own line. Forced free from him by C.J. Ike, who just hustles and gets it all the way toward goal, where Patera has to make a poke check on it with the stick. The Fuel now end up exiting the zone on themselves. Cliff Watson goes back behind his own net to get the puck and turns it over. Graber tries to put it into the slot, but it was behind Boudreau. Now the Fuel looking for a stretch pass to Spencer Watson. It was behind him as he was clear of the D. And going back to get it is McIver. McIver, far boards, across center red, across the Fuel line, backhands it into the right wing corner. Chris Cameron gets to it, wraps it around the boards. Jared Thomas takes a bump, can't get it out of the zone. Conjure holds it into the left point. And the Fuel get to it, clear it back into the Fort Wayne end. Does not have enough steam for icing as Petrozelli goes back to get it with 2:10 to go in the period. Brent Gates in on the forecheck as McIver winds it up. McIver across center red, scales it in, comes all the way through both corners where Alvaro gets to it, whistles one right through the crease. Looking for Conjure. Komets win the puck along the 4 boards. Again, whistle it through the slot. Petrozelli into the left wing corner. Taken away by the Fuel, but they turn it over. Petrozelli fires from close range, and a blocker save made by Cale Morris. Up to the point, Tolkinen walking the line. Wrist one blocked wide and collected by Fort Wayne. Petrozelli into the corner. Fort Wayne changing 1 by 1 behind the play. Jared Thomas wraps it around the far boards, but it's held in by Corcoran. Shoves it right back into the right wing corner. LeGarrier is tied up. The Fuel get to it, but they can't get it out. Here's a one-timer from Tolkinen from the left point. Stick save made by Morris, and the Fuel lob it out to center to relieve the pressure. Corcoran, quick up to Germain. Sidesteps Spencer Watson across the Fuel line. Left wing circle. Germain puts on the brakes. Shovels it across looking for DJ King. He takes it off the boards. Final minute of the second period. Puts it in front. Ortiz is able to redirect it goalward, but a positional save made by Cale Morris. Fuel play to the line. Riley McKay wins a foot race. Tries to take it to the middle, but Corcoran cancels him out. McKay stays on the puck. Now to Yetman. Tries to get it goalward. It's sticked aside by Patera. Right to McKay. He shoots, and Patera is able to make the save. Play back into the Fuel end. Chaika goes in after it and wins the race for icing with 32.1 seconds to go in the second period. Some good chances for Fort Wayne and some sustained pressure, but Cale Morris able to make the saves he needed to. And Fuel with a chance coming the other way, but a good stick by Connor Corcoran broke it up. Face off in the right wing circle. Fort Wayne has iced the puck, so they can't change. Bush to take the draw. Chad Yetman to do the honors for Indy. Keegan Iverson is out there on right wing. And the Fuel have the puck. Lacroix in behind the net. Iverson tried to put it out in front, broken up by the Komets. They get it as far as the line, and Teixeira couldn't hold it in on his offside. He'll shovel it in behind the Fort Wayne net with 15 seconds to go in the period. Corcoran to wind up the breakout with 10. He'll send it up the near boards for Bush. To the fuel line to Kellen Jones, back to Bush. It's wanted away from him nicely by Chayka. Yetman across the Fort Wayne line, runs out of time. As the second period ends, the Indy Fuel add a goal in the period to take a 2-0 lead over the Fort Wayne Komets through 40 minutes. Shots on goal in the period. The Komets with 8 for a total of 16. The Fuel with 13 for a total of 18. Fort Wayne had the only power play of the period. It was unsuccessful. So they're now 0 for 3 on the night. The Fuel did not have a power play in the period, but are 1 for 2 on the evening. Those are our second intermission stats. We'll give you the scoring summary, recap the second period, and bring you the ECHL plays of the week. That all comes up right after this. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
During Happy Honda Days, discover the joys of the season with unforgettable trips in an Accord, Pilot, or HRV. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR on the 2021 Honda Accord and 0% APR on the 2022 Pilot or HRV. Find your perfect Honda this season. Visit your local Honda dealer today or shop online.
This is my kind of holiday.
It's the Happy Honda Day sales event at your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
See dealer for financing details.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, Business Manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in Central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Second intermission at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Indy Fuel leading the Fort Wayne Komets 2-0. Cedric Lacroix got the scoring started, his third of the year at 16-19 of the first period on the power play from Keone Teixeira. And then Chad Yetman with a one-timer on a 2-on-1, his fifth of the year from Riley McKay at 9:22 of the second, giving the Fuel a 2-0 lead. And as evidenced by the shots, 13-8 in favor of the Fuel that period. Indy really controlled the play, especially given Fort Wayne had the only power play of the period. That came even with the Fuel in full possession. Seamus Malone took a shot from the point and his stick exploded on him, and that sent Kellen Jones on a breakaway. And Malone, with the half of a stick he had, of course that is also illegal, playing with a broken stick, but with the half of a stick that he still had, reached across and tripped up Jones to prevent him from having a breakaway. And that was the only penalty of the period, and gave Fort Wayne its only power play. It was unsuccessful, but other than that, the Fuel really controlled the play in the second period. Fort Wayne had a stretch late in the period where they had some sustained pressure and some good looks on Cale Morris, but he was equal to the task. And Chad Yetman on a 2-on-1 coming down as the trailer, and Riley McKay found him, and Yetman didn't miss on the one-timer to give the Fuel the 2-goal lead. And Indy this season, when leading after 2, is 3-0. Fort Wayne is 0-4-2 when trailing after 2 goals, or trailing after 2 periods this season. And so the Fuel here, you want to have a good period. You still want to stay on your toes. You want to do the things that got you that 2-0 lead, but you want to make simple plays. The Fuel have been pretty good in their defensive zone here in this recent stretch, and really since they had that weekend where they gave up 19 goals in 3 games, they came back, had a really renewed commitment to defense. And one thing Doug Christensen said is a lot of the 5-on-5 goals were coming off the rush, so they really tried to tighten that up, and from there shut out Fort Wayne, beat Wheeling 5-2, and then fell behind Kalamazoo, dropped that game, but have played fairly well defensively since. Allowed 2 5-on-5 goals in each of the last 2 games against Toledo and Fort Wayne, and ended up dropping both of those, a 4-3 game on last Friday in Toledo, and then 3-2 to Fort Wayne here. But you can see, we talked to Doug Christensen before the game, it's kind of like reaching into a jar of olives, and the wins just haven't been coming, but the Fuel have been doing the right things. And so you expect the wins to come, and just kind of pulling that first olive out, the rest of them come out really easily after that. And it's an analogy that when the Colts many years ago were having trouble scoring, Jim Harbaugh used that analogy when he was a quarterback. It's like reaching into a jar of olives. You know, you get the first one, and then all of a sudden the rest come in bunches. And so the Fuel hoping to get the first one tonight, and if they can win a period here, they'll win a hockey game, and then maybe use that as a springboard to some momentum. Let's take a look at what else is going on around the ECHL. Newfoundland knocked off Reading 4-2 earlier this evening. Jacob Pritchard, old friend, former Indiana Ice player, had a pair of goals for the Royals in that one. Jacksonville right now all over Orlando. 4-0 that game in the second intermission. Also in the second intermission, Worcester leads Maine at 2-1. Old friend Liam Coughlin with us with a goal for Worcester. That's the go-ahead goal as of now. Florida leads Trois-Rivières 2-1. That game midway through the second. Also midway through the second, Norfolk and Atlanta are tied at 1. And they just finished the first period in Coralville, Iowa, and Wichita are scoreless. In the American Hockey League, the Rockford Ice Hawks have a 2-1 lead over the Milwaukee Admirals in the waning seconds of the first period. Evan Barrett and Isaac Phillips with the goals for the Ice Hawks. The Chicago Blackhawks are in action tomorrow night in Washington. Want to wish the best and a congratulations to my good friend and broadcast partner Nick Olchek, who will be with John Weideman on the WGN radio call of that game tomorrow night as the Blackhawks are in Washington, a 7:05 p.m. face-off from the nation's capital. Games going on in the National Hockey League right now. The Rangers lead the Flyers 3-1. That game late in the second period. The Leafs over the Avalanche 3-1 also early in the second period. The Canucks and Senators tied at 1 early in the second. And Seattle and Detroit are scoreless also early in the second. The Golden Knights and Ducks and Penguins and Oilers will face off later on this evening. Here the Fuel lead the Fort Wayne Komets 2-0. And it's time for our second intermission feature. Once again, we bring you the top plays from around the league. Here are the ECHL plays of the week.
From across America's premier AA hockey league, this is the ECHL plays of the week.
High slot, slap shot, off the glove, and now for the net, he scores! Out to the blue line, shot, scores! Rodney scores! Goal scores! Rewrite the record books. A hat trick. Skates in over the line. Deeks shoots. In the slot. Shot. Save. Game is over.
Greetings, ECHL fans. We flipped our calendars into the final month of the year, and we're here to bring you some holiday joy with the top plays from throughout the ECHL on this week's ECHL Plays of the Week. I'm Cody Lefkowitz, the voice of the South Carolina Stingrays. We begin out west this week. On Friday, the Rapid City Rush erased a 2-goal third-period deficit, and in OT, while working on a power play, Steve Bayless found himself loose in the slot.
Bayless gave it right back to Nelson. Nelson carries it to the right circle. On for Bayless above the circle. To the slot for a shot. He scores! Stephen Bayless, the overtime game-winning goal.
That was Brian Gardner on the Rapid City Rush Broadcast Network. For the second straight night, the Swamp Rabbits ended their contest 4-3 on Friday. But this time, it took a couple extra minutes to decide their fate. Max Zimmer played hero in overtime, sniping the game-winning goal.
Fresh on is Zimmer. He will take it. Zimmer peels into the high slot, fires and scores! Max Zimmer calls game!
That was Mark Shelley on the Swamp Rabbits Broadcast Network with the call. Zimmer's goal was his 10th point in the last 8 games. The Florida Everblades entered Saturday's game in pursuit of their first victory over the in-state rivals this season. They were able to do exactly that with back-to-back goals from forward Alex Aliardi, including the game winner in the first period.
And too many bodies were out between the circles. Brizola in a big race. Everblade all alone, and they score! Alex Aliordi from the slot goes underneath the crossbar and in as the Everblades make it 2-0.
That was Nick Rush with the call on the Everblades Broadcast Network. The Everblades went on to win 3-1, retaining their spot in first place in the South Division. The Maine Mariners got 2 major reinforcements from AHL Providence last week for their Thanksgiving Eve game against Worcester, including talented forward Alex Olivier Voyer making his Mariners debut. With Maine trailing 2-0 late in the second period, Voyer scored back-to-back power play goals to send the game into the third tide. With just under 4 minutes to go in regulation, Voyer capped his magical debut with goal number 3.
Back into Trollmax. Voyer scores! Alex Olivier Voyer, a hat trick in his Mariners debut, and he has led Maine all the way back to take a 3-2 lead with 3:37 to go.
That was Michael Keeley on the Mariners Broadcast Network with the call. Voyer became the third Mariner to register a hat trick in just 7 Maine home games to start the 2021-22 season, and joined linemate Ed Trollmax in accomplishing this feat in his Mariners debut. Last Friday night, the Worcester Railers set a franchise high, recording 8 goals in an 8-1 victory over the Adirondack Thunder. Ross Olson cap off the Gordie Howe hat trick. He would net his 3rd goal of the night.
Worcester countering back the other way. 4-on-2. Hayhurst for Olson. Shoots! Scores! It's a hat trick for Ross Olson! It's the 3rd power play goal of the night, and the Railers take a 7-1 lead.
That was Cam McGuire on 98.9 Nash Icon, the Railers radio network. The Gordie Howe hat trick was the 2nd of Olson's professional career. The next highlight comes from last Saturday's game. Forward Justin Almeida was a one-man show for the Nailers, netting 4 goals in Saturday's 4-2 victory.
Foley taps off for Watling, long distance. Almeida turns right side, he scores! Justin Almeida, have yourself a night! His 4th goal of the game makes it 4-1 Nailers.
That was DJ Abasella on the Nailers Broadcast Network. Almeida finished the night with 4 goals and tallied 6 total points on the weekend series as the Nailers swept the Iowa Heartlanders. Speaking of the Heartlanders, Iowa forward Ben Soke has progressed through the first quarter of his rookie season.
Ovanov, pass through to the slot. A shot by Soke. He scores! What a pure snipe! Ben Soke goals in 2 straight, the first 2 of his career. Heartlanders lead by 2. An even strength goal at 6:15 of the second.
David Fine with the call on the Iowa Heartlanders Broadcast Network. The Atlanta Gladiators special teams feasted on Thanksgiving with 2 power play goals and 1 shorthanded goal in a 4-3 victory over the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. Forward Hugo Waugh scored goals while a man up and a man down for the Glads, including a shorthanded tally at the end of the first period.
To the line and just over the stick of Hora, and here comes Hugo Waugh, shot out of a cannon. Waugh shoots and scores! A shorthanded goal for Hugo Waugh with 1.6 seconds left on the clock.
That was Mike Folta on the Gladiators Broadcast Network. On Saturday, the Solar Bears entered the 3rd period trailing the Norfolk Admirals 3-1. After Joe Gareffa scored twice to force overtime, the 2 teams squared off in the shootout after the sudden death frame could not determine a winner.
And the Bears take the lead once again, and now it falls on to Brad Barone. He will have to come up big to stop defenseman Eric Williams, who has already scored once in the shootout for the Admirals this year. Can Barone make the stop here? Williams to the left, fakes the snapshot. A save by Barone, and the Solar Bears win it in the shootout.
Barone finished the night with 50 saves and went 2-0 for the week to claim the Warrior Hockey ECHL Goaltender of the Week honors. The Newfoundland Growlers entered Sunday afternoon's contest in Worcester on an ECHL record 8-game season opening road winning streak, leading the Railers 5-0 in the 3rd period. O'Brien beat Worcester goaltender Colton Ellis for his 4th goal of the contest, setting new franchise marks in the process.
Stolen away by Johnstone. O'Brien, he's in. He scores! Zach O'Brien! Oh my goodness, what a game! His 4th
of the night, tying the Growlers record for points in a game with 5, and it's 6-0 Newfoundland.
That was the voice of the Growlers, Chris Ballard, who had the call on the Growlers broadcast network. The Idaho Steelheads closed out November with a 6-game homestand against the Allen Americans, and Friday night was all about the hats. Rookie forward Evgeny Aksenchuk has been a strong spark for the Steelheads in the early going. He capped off the night with this tally. Here's Colin Shook on Sparklight TV and 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, KTIK, The Ticket.
Plays it ahead for Johnson. Now he'll let White carry on the exchange. Strip stays onside. Aksenchuk, drag, shoots! Evgeny Aksenchuk, the hat-trick goal to win it 3-2 in overtime!
The hat trick is the second in as many months for the Steelheads, and both of Aksenchuk's game winners this year have come in overtime. The Cyclones rolled into Black Friday looking to ground the Kalamazoo Wings and pick up the team's third straight win. The K-Wings cut the deficit in half during the third period and tried to make things interesting on a late power play in regulation.
Cyclones kill the penalty. They'll go the other way with McLeod on the left. Drop off for Boca. Backhand. In front. They score! Lucas Craggs out of the box and onto the score sheet. Trying to put the game on ice.
That was the voice of the Cyclones, Andrew Mossbrooks, calling Lucas Cragg's insurance goal for Cincinnati as the Cyclones clipped the Wings by a 6-2 final on Black Friday. In South Carolina, the team saw the return of a handful of key veterans this week, but it was rookie Carter Colthorpe who helped play hero on Saturday night in Atlanta, beating the Gladiators netminder Chris Nell with 0.3 seconds on the clock.
There's 3 seconds left, one final attempt, scored! They scored! Milliseconds on the clock, 2 straight in 14 seconds. Come away with the victory, no time on the clock. Carter Colthorpe, the winner!
That was yours truly, Cody Lefkowitz, on the Stingrays Broadcast Network and Caps Radio 24/7. That'll wrap it up on this December 1st's Plays of the Week. Check out more great ECHL action on Flow Hockey. I'm South Carolina Stingrays Cody Lefkowitz, wishing you all a great week and an early happy holidays.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the ECHL, celebrating its 34th season of affordable family entertainment. The ECHL would like to recognize the following league sponsors: AMI Graphics, official signage provider; Athletic Knit, official jersey supplier; Baron Rings, official championship ring supplier; BFL Canada Insurance and Sutton Special Risk, sponsors of the 2022 ECHL Hall of Fame induction ceremony; Flow Sports, the exclusive streaming provider of the ECHL; Geico, official auto insurance of the ECHL; the Fairley Group, official commercial insurance provider; Handbid, the official mobile auction app; Honig's, the official partner of the ECHL officiating team; Howie's Hockey Tape, official hockey tape and lace provider; in Glasgow, official puck provider; My Grey Group, your source for game-worn jerseys; Sideline Swap, official online marketplace of the ECHL; and Warrior, exclusive on-ice equipment provider of the ECHL and title sponsor of the 2022 ECHL All-Star Classic. Catch all of the ECHL action live in high definition by logging on to flowhockey.tv.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Getting set to begin the third period here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The Fuel leading the Fort Wayne Komets 2-0. Goals by Cedric Lacroix on the power play in the first period, and Chad Yetman in the second have given Indy this lead. Each goaltender has made 16 saves. Yuri Patera in the Fort Wayne net, and Cale Morris in the Fuel end. As we get set for the third period, Fort Wayne is 0 for 3 on the power play. Indy is 1 for 2. And if you're the Fuel, I think what you want to see is to stay on your toes. Continue to do the things that allowed you to get this 2-0 lead, but keep the play in front of you as much as possible as well, and win board battles and win the net front. And if you do that, you should have a pretty successful final frame. We're 5 aside to begin the third period. No carryover penalties. Tommy Apap's line. with Seamus Malone and CJ Ike will begin the period against Will Graber's line for Fort Wayne with Kellen Jones and Sean Boudria. APAP wins the draw. The Fuel moving from right to left. Send it in. Cliff Watson wires it through both corners. Kellen Jones has it along the far boards for Fort Wayne. Is able to spray it across to the near boards for Marcus McIver. Hoists it to the Fuel line. Glove down by Cliff Watson. And sends it ahead to Tommy APAP. Right at the logo at center. Ahead to Seamus Malone. Right wing corner in the Fort Wayne end. Hops on the puck there. And he's tied up by McIver. That allows Graber to take the puck. Boudria up the far side. Kellen Jones tried to kick it into the Fuel zone, but couldn't get it past Cliff Watson at center and played back to the Fort Wayne line. Matt Murphy tried to headman to the Fuel line, pass didn't connect with Graber, and goes down for an icing. We'll make that Alfaro, who's posted up at the Fuel line. So we've played 44 seconds of the third period. Indy leads 2-0, and next chance to see the Fuel here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum will be in 2.5 weeks on December 17th and 18th. The Cincinnati Cyclones will begin here on the 17th and Kalamazoo on the 18th. Fuel win the draw. Spencer Watson with it. Walks the line. Wrists one through traffic. Gets through. And the Fuel gain possession. They feed it out in front in the slot. And a save is made on the shot from Spencer Watson from in between the hash marks. Fuel again try to send it goalward. It goes wide, but Spencer Watson does some good work to hold it in behind the net. It comes looking for Jared Thomas. Thomas squirts it toward the goal. Patera tried to reach out with a blocker but couldn't cover. Indy can't settle things down, and Conjure takes it for Fort Wayne. He'll skate across the Fuel line. Can't get it through Keone Teixeira, who bunts it out to center. Racing over to get to it is Blake Siebenauer at his own line. Gets through the neutral zone with speed across the Fuel line. Right circle, wrist one right through the top of the crease. DJ King sends it goalward into the slot. Loose puck. Siebenauer couldn't quite settle it down. Puck's in behind the net for Conjure. He's tied up by Leguerrier, who takes the puck and chops it out to center. The Fuel play it into the Fort Wayne end. Patera will wrist it around. Chad Yetman along the far board sends it right back from where it came. In behind the net, Lacroix and McKay trying to do some battle, but it comes free to Bush of Fort Wayne, and it'll be sent in on goal from center. And now we've got Riley McKay with the gloves off with Blake Siebenauer behind the play. Those two currently have each other tied up. Siebenauer is able to free the right, try to land a couple. McKay tries to get an uppercut in. He's getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Getting in on Siebenauer's head, and now McKay takes Siebenauer down. Siebenauer tried to get the 2-point reversal right at the end, but Riley McKay got the better of Blake Siebenauer in that one behind the play, and the crowd likes that. And if you're the Fuel as well, you've just taken one of Fort Wayne's most dynamic defensemen off the ice for 5 minutes, and Siebenauer is going to go to the room. And the trainer is heading over there with him. So, Fuel players over to give McKay a few fist bumps. 17:55 to go. That was happening way behind the play. It appears that matching majors, 5 each for fighting, will be the penalties. And Siebenauer headed to the dressing room. And right now our referee John Lindner is having a conversation with a couple of the Komets, Tyler Bush and looks like Jermaine. It looks like we've got a little bit of blood that we've got to scrape up off the ice as well, so the maintenance crew is out. And Yuri Patera is trying to scuff the ice up a little bit to make it easier for the maintenance crew to scoop up the fluids that are on the ice, and they have done that, so we will return to action. The faceoff will be outside the fuel line as the Komets were bringing it into the zone when play was stopped. Bush, Jermaine Ortiz, the line for Fort Wayne. Thomas, Gates, and Spencer Watson for the fuel. Komets win the draw. Corbin Baldwin will hammer it in behind the fuel goal. Mike Lee, and now we got a whistle behind the play. And Komets were offside. Siebenauer and McKay, 5 each for fighting. Officially the penalties. 2:05 the time of those. Fuel will win the draw and neutralize the pass across, knocked down by Fort Wayne. It does exit the zone. Bush will backhand it back in. Mike Lee goes to get it behind his own net. Forced to turn his goal, outlets to Brent Gates up the near boards. Takes it on the forehand, across to Cliff Watson. Backhands it to the Fort Wayne line. Spencer to Cliff, give and go, and Cliff punches it in below the goal line. Spencer Watson wins the puck, whistles it in front. Jared Thomas tries to wait out the goaltender and couldn't, took it behind the net and then tried to put it back out in front, but it's picked off by Ortiz of Fort Wayne. He'll send it in behind the fuel goal. Mike Lee goes to get it. Up the near side, Jared Thomas. As Lee takes a big hit behind the play, Thomas backhands it out to neutral ice where McIver picks it off. Waits for his teammates to exit the zone. The puck entered, however, so Cliff Watson gets a free out to Brent Gates up the near boards. Cross corner dump, didn't get all the way there as Murphy gloves it out of the air. Fuel getting a change. 16:52 to go third period. The Fuel leading it 2-0. Fort Wayne sends it in. Cale Morris punches it over to the corner where Graber trying to win the puck. Four-man puck battle. Graber, Murphy, Apap are in there. Yetman's finally able to dig it free. Ahead to Malone. Across center red, try to self-pass. He stood up at the line by McIver. Kellen Jones goes back to get the puck in his own corner for Fort Wayne. Up the near side, Sean Boutria. Bothered a little bit by Malone, but he's able to regroup and exit the zone. Across the logo at center red, across the fuel line, right down Main Street, wrists one wide as a stick was being lifted by Teixeira. Here's a shot from the left circle off the stick of Jones, blocked into the corner. Will Graber with it. Into the high slot, Boutria, and it exploded off of his stick. And the Fuel able to force it out to center. Chad Yetman to an open wing at neutral ice to Keone Teixeira. He tries to gain the line, but it hits a leg and comes out to center. Yetman gets to it, backhands it into the zone. The Fuel go for a change with 15:55 to go. C.J. Ike in on the forecheck. Fort Wayne banks it out to center as Conjur's able to get it up to Alvaro, who backhands it into the Fuel zone, right wing corner. Chris Cameron goes to get it. Sends it around, looking for Iverson. Comes all the way out to the point. DJ King sends it wide for Alvaro, picked off by the Fuel. Tipped out to neutral ice by Ike. DJ King goes back to get it for Fort Wayne. Sends it across for Tolkinen, who's back playing defense after starting the game as a forward. He played all of Saturday night's game at right wing as well, but he's naturally a defenseman. Conjur wins one off the board, sends a goalward looking for a tip. Petrozelli with a wraparound. And Morris was able to make the save. I think it was Petrozelli who had the original tip as well, and then he collected the puck behind the net. Fuel able to clear the zone. Jared Thomas will send it in. He'll go in forecheck as the four red sweaters change behind him. His line mates Brent Gates and Spencer Watson join him, as well as Lee and Cliff Watson on D. Komets will wrap it in. Gets past Morris and into the near corner, but all the way up to the point that had been vacated. Jared Thomas wins it for the Fuel. Across to Spencer Watson, across the line, right circle. His shot is deflected wide. Corcoran goes to get it for Fort Wayne, plays it up to neutral ice. Mike Lee settles it down at center red, banks it back into the Fort Wayne zone. 14.5 to go in a third period that's had a lot of flow to it so far. Bush up the right wing boards through the neutral zone, tries a self-pass. Into the right wing corner, Mike Lee gets to it for the Fuel. A nice short pass ahead to Aluda forechecker. Lacroix out to center, up the left wing boards. Comes Keegan Iverson. He hits the trailer. Cliff Watson, but the puck hopped over his stick as Cliff had to catch it on his backhand. Below the goal line. Now into the left wing circle. Turnaround shot from Iverson is blocked into the near corner. In behind the net it comes for Lacroix. Seti sidesteps a hit from Corbin Baldwin, but that separates him from the puck, and Will Graber comes back to get it for Fort Wayne. We'll send it as far as center red. Keone Teixeira hammers it back into the Fort Wayne end with 13:45 to go in the third period of a game the Fuel lead 2-0. Komets play it up to center, and Boudria back to Corcoran below his own goal line. It goes D to D to Baldwin. Short pass ahead to Graber. Feathers one across the Fuel line to Kellen Jones. Takes it past two. Tried to stuff it near post, but Cale Morris stuck the toe to the post and was able to make the save. McIver below the goal line. Puts it out in front for a shot and a goal. Sean Boudria was posted up at the top of the crease and was able to catch and release and hammer it top shelf, and the Komets are within one. It's 2-1. Time of the goal, 6:45 of the third period. That's Boudria's first of the year. I believe his first professional goal as well. He had 7 assists for the Komets and 1 for the Iowa Wild last season, but you win the puck below the goal line, good things happen. And Cale Morris had made a tremendous save early on Kellen Jones, but as the action continued, the Komets won the puck, and they got it out in front to Boudria, who was able to score. McIver and Graber with the assists at 6:45 on Boudria's goal. The Fuel still lead 2-1. Jared Thomas across the line. Curl drag to the middle, puts a goal where save made Patera. Rebound loose in the crease, but Patera is able to find it and cover up as he was scrambling to get on top of that puck. Whistle with 12:48 to go in the third period. The Fuel lead Fort Wayne 2-1. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
Remember Krista from Kemper Technology Consulting last year?
What's icing?
Well, she's learned a lot since then.
Get him! Hit him again! Shoot!
And she's become a huge Fuel fan.
Go, Fuel! Woo!
Let the team at Kemper put that same enthusiasm to work for you. Specializing in accounting software support with QuickBooks Professional Certification, Kemper gives you real people solving real problems. They can also help your network infrastructure, too. Call 866-966-5633 or visit KemperTC.com.
Come on, Brad! Idiot!
If you're looking for an exciting night of hockey, visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum to help cheer our Indy Fuel to victory. If you're looking to score a great deal on business insurance, look no further than Indiana Farmers Insurance. The Indy Fuel chose Indiana Farmers Insurance because they wanted a local business that understands local business. It's a partnership that's truly worthy of a hat trick. To find an independent Indiana Farmers Insurance agent near you, visit IndianaFarmers.com.
This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
12:48 to go. In the third period, the Fuel leading Fort Wayne 2-1. Sean Boudria has brought the Komets within a goal with his first career goal from McIver and Graber at 6:45. And that was just hard work by Fort Wayne. They won the puck below the goal line. And it came right after Cale Morrison made a tremendous save on Kellen Jones. But they kept the play going, won the puck below the goal line, and ended up finding Boudria open in the slot. So the Fuel now have a 1-goal lead to protect. They win an offensive zone draw. Cedric Lacroix, left wing corner, protecting the puck, tried to play it up into the slot, picked off by Conjure of Fort Wayne. Comes back to the Fuel line where Chris Cameron is able to headman it. The Fuel hammer it in. Matt Murphy goes to get it, wraps it around behind his own net. Riley McKayen on the forecheck. Tries to win it free from McIver, is unable to do so. And the Komets look to exit the zone and do. Conjure tried to play it to the Fuel line, knocked down by Laguerriere. Chad Yetman comes back to collect the puck in his own zone. Laguerriere facing 2 forecheckers, banks it out to center ice, but it comes right back into the Fort Wayne end, and Anthony Petrozelli touched the puck, and Conjure had not exited the zone after the puck had come out and come back in. So we've got an offside whistle on Fort Wayne with 12:05 to go in the third period, and you've got to expect things are really going to tighten up now, as Fort Wayne is going to be looking for the equalizer with some momentum, and the Fuel will be looking to just continue to make the simple plays and keep the play in front of them. Fuel win the draw at neutral ice. Cliff Watson, D to Mike Lee up the right wing boards. Gains center red, backhands it in to the Komets' end. And behind the goal, Siebenthaler is back after serving his fighting major and getting some repairs in the dressing room. Leaves it for DJ King. King up the left wing boards, out to center. Puck sent ahead to Bush. He'll play it into the left wing corner. Cliff Watson gets to it and tried to play it ahead to Jared Thomas, and he turns it over. Germain into the circle for Ortiz. He fires on goal, and Cale Morris, the blocker, save, and he steers the rebound out of play. Some anxious moments for the Fuel as they turn it over in a really bad spot, right in their own circle. And Ortiz at a point-blank look, trying to go far post on Morris, but the Fuel goaltender able to make the save. Fort Wayne, their forecheck starting to make some things happen. Got to make some clean plays out of the zone if you're the Fuel, as Fort Wayne's going to continue to send extra guys in. They're usually very aggressive on the forecheck. Komets win the draw. Corcoran with a wrister that goes just wide of the right post from the right point. Cliff Watson wins the puck, sends it in behind his own net looking for Mike Lee. 2 Komets converge on him. Lee now battling 3 Komets as it comes in behind the net. And Fort Wayne trying to get to the pocket, squirts free into the high slot where CJ Ike collects for Indy. Across center red, will fire it in wide of the goal. Tommy Apap gets to it, tried to fire it goalward, but it was deflected wide. Seamus Malone along the far boards. Sends it up to the point, Teixeira. Across the left point, Chaika with a wrister on goal. Save is made. A rebound tumbles out of Patera's glove. Loose in the slot, comes right back to Patera, and he covers up for a whistle. 10:49 to go, third period. The Fuel with a 2-1 lead over Fort Wayne. Those of you watching on Flow see the 70 logo on Patera's shoulder. Fort Wayne Komets franchise has gone through a number of iterations, but began in the 1952-53 season in the old International Hockey League, and were opponents of the Indianapolis Chiefs in the IHL, and later the Checkers and Ice until 1999, when both the Ice and Komets exited the IHL, the Ice to the Central League, the Komets to the United Hockey League, which later became the International League. And here's the Komets bringing it into the zone. Shot on goal. Morris makes the save, and then he has to cover up for a whistle. And Morris got a snow shower for his efforts as well, and the Fuel took exception to that. But this rink actually was the first in Indiana to host a professional hockey game back in 1939 with the Indianapolis Capitals, the American Hockey League. They played for 13 years and won 2 Calder Cups. And I mentioned the Komets went to the United Hockey League, which became the International after that league folded. They joined the Central Hockey League and eventually to the ECHL. Fuel win the draw on their own zone. 10.5 to play. Indy leads 2-1. Lee headmans through the neutral zone looking for Lacroix. Passes wide of him. Icing is waved off, however, as Lacroix wins the race to the dots. Komets control, lob it out to center. Mike Lee will settle it down at his own line. Curl back. Cedric Lacroix tips it into the Fort Wayne zone. Marcus McIver will settle it down there. Ahead to Anthony Petrozelli up the right wing boards. Gains center red, fires it in. Rides the dasher all the way around to Spencer Watson along the far boards for Indy. He will carry it out to neutral ice. Tried to push it ahead for Brent Gates. Pass a little too far for him. Fort Wayne was changing. And it comes right back to the Fuel. Spencer Watson to Jared Thomas to fire it in behind the net. DJ King goes to get it for Fort Wayne with 9:44 to go in the third. Tried to bring it out of the zone. Poke check by Thomas. And now another turnover. Spencer Watson takes it in. All alone. Save made. Thomas hops on the puck in the slot but couldn't do anything with it. Ortiz along the far boards loses it again. Spencer Watson turns around, feeds Thomas, tries to wait out Patera, but the Fort Wayne goaltender came out. Here's a feed out in front for Gates, and he couldn't get it off his stick right on top of the crease. Germain across center red will fire it in. Some anxious moments for Fort Wayne defensively there as they had a couple of defensive zone turnovers with the Fuel's top line out there. We have a hand pass on Fort Wayne as Graber gloves it down, and then the Komets got the next touch in the offensive zone. So 9:09 to go third period. The Fuel leading 2-1. We're kind of talking about some of the history here. And this is technically the second Fort Wayne franchise. The original one moved to Albany, New York in 1990, and The Franke brothers bought the Flint Spirits and moved them to Fort Wayne, and they've been continuous ever since. So 70 years continuous for Fort Wayne, and Indy has a hockey history that dates back to 1939 continuously, with the exception of a season and a half since 1974. Komets bring it into the fuel zone. Kellen Jones loses possession. Mike Lee, C.J. Ike battling for the puck, comes up to the point for Tolkien, walks the line, wrists her, hits the pile in front, actually gets all the way through to Cale Morris, and he makes a glove save with 8:33 to go in the third period. The Fuel leading 2-1. Shots are 25-24 in favor of Indy. Cedric Lacroix and Chad Yetman with goals in each of the first two periods gave the Fuel a 2-0 lead. Sean Boudria has responded for Fort Wayne, playing his first game in a couple of weeks. Boudria, a rookie, played for 3 different teams in the QMJHL before signing with the Iowa Wild last season. Fuel win the defensive zone draw. Cedric Lacroix out to center, 2-on-2 across the Fort Wayne line. And here's Chad Yetman with it in the circle. Sends it up top for a one-timer. It's on goal off the stick of Cliff Watson. Lee was looking for a tip, but Patera was able to make the save and hold on for a whistle. 8:19 to go, third period. Really good setup for the Fuel. They got Cliff Watson and a lot of traffic. Cliff, really solid defensive defenseman, +8 on the year in 10 games, but he's got 4 goals and 4 assists as well. He had a spate a couple weeks ago where he had 4 goals in 3 games. Komets win the defensive zone draw. Marcus McIver will send it up the boards for Ortiz. This pass ahead broken up by Cliff Watson along the near boards at neutral ice. Watson gains possession, cross corner dump into the right wing corner. Thomas going after it. It's wrapped around Marcus McIver. Tries to get it through a forechecker and does to Ortiz. Sends it out to center, hops over Spencer Watson's stick. Mike Lee comes over to get it to his own line, chops it to the Fort Wayne line to Thomas. He drops it to the trailer. Spencer Watson into the slot, fire, score! Spencer Watson hits a milestone as he rifles it into the top shelf. It's professional goal number 100 for Spencer Watson, and the Fuel lead at 3-1. A beautiful play off the rush by the Fuel, as Thomas and Gates brought it in, and Watson was trailing the play right down the slot. Up the boards, and the first forward drives the middle, clears up the space, and then Watson with a catch and release from the high slot just wired it under the bar, and the Fuel lead 3-1. So Spencer Watson with his 100th career professional goal. Komets bring it the other way. Boudria fires on goal. Glove save made by Morris. Spencer Watson, his 6th of the year from Thomas at 12-11. The goal that gives the Fuel a 3-1 lead, and now Spencer's got goals in back-to-back games. That's his 100th professional goal, his 98th in the ECHL. He also has a pair of goals in 28 American Hockey League games with the Ontario Reign and the Rockford Ice Hogs. He actually is the longest tenured member of the Fuel, as he came to the Fuel in the 2017-18 season. He came to the Blackhawks organization in a trade with the Kings, and actually left Doug Christensen's Manchester team, was assigned to Indy, played a handful of games with the Fuel, and then signed with them the next season, and is in his 3rd full season with the Fuel. Graber with the puck, high slot, turnaround shot blocked out to center ice by LeGarrier. The Fuel trying to get a fire wagon change with 7:08 to go as DJ King has the puck at center. Ahead to Graber, posted up at the Fuel line, sends it in on Cale Morris, who leaves for Chris Cameron behind his net. Reverses it to Brent Gates, punches it up the boards to the Fort Wayne line to Jared Thomas. Solo rush. Thomas tried to take it to the middle but was unable to collect the puck and keep it on a stick. Corcoran across the fuel line. Shot is blocked wide, hits the strings at the bottom of the cage, and Teixeira collects far boards to Jared Thomas. He'll curl back against the flow. Tried to play it out. Glove down by Petruzzelli. He holds it in. Along the right wing boards, Petruzzelli, bottom of the right wing circle, watched by two Fuel players. Sends it up to the point for Baldwin. Now to Petruzzelli. Hops over his stick. Goes in behind the net. Jared Thomas wins the puck briefly, but loses it to Fort Wayne. Baldwin, left circle, shoots. Save made. Condra battling for the rebound. Sends it over to the near boards. Collects the puck there. Across the seam for Corcoran, but it hopped over his stick. Fires a sharp angle shot. Save made. Rebound put right through the crease. And looking for Baldwin. Komets maintain possession. Good pressure here from Fort Wayne. Lots of zone time as Corcoran takes it off the boards to the point. Fort Wayne changing out man by man. Corcoran shot looking for a tip from Petruzzelli, but goes wide. Komets again have the Fuel stapled in their own zone. Corcoran in the slot. Shoots! Save made Morris. Petruzzelli in behind the net for Alvaro. Into the boards for Petruzzelli. Delayed penalty coming on the Fuel. You had a feeling that either a goal or a good scoring chance or a penalty was coming with a long zone time Fort Wayne had and the waves of pressure. And we've got a hooking penalty coming on Indy. 5:38 to go, third period. The Fuel lead Fort Wayne 3-1. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
Midwest Sport and Spine is the official chiropractor of the Indy Fuel. Go where the Fuel go for sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Midwest Sport and Spine offers state-of-the-art technology, chiropractic physical therapy, athletic training, and massage therapy all under one roof. And yes, we take your insurance. Take advantage of our Fuel fan discount for a $59 introductory massage offer. Midwest Sport and Spine, sports medicine for a pain-free everyday life. Go to MidwestSportandSpineCenter.com to schedule your appointment now.
Hi, this is Jeff Wheeler, Business Manager of IBEW Local 41. I am proud to represent more than 3,000 union electrical workers in central Indiana. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the annual Circle of Lights, we are proud to power your community. IBEW Local 41 is proud of our union membership and our community leadership.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
5:38 to go, third period. The Indy Fuel headed to the penalty kill for the fourth time in this game as Kirill Chaika is in the box for hooking. And so Fort Wayne, which is 0 for 3 on the power play tonight, heads back to the man advantage. Entering the game, they were 24th in the league. The Komets at 15.3%. The Fuel entering the game, 25th in the league on the kill at 75%. Tommy Apap to take the draw against Will Graber, and Apap's going to be tossed out of the circle, and he's the Fuel's best face-off man. So Seamus Malone will take it against Graber, and Graber wins it. Up to the point, Connor Corcoran walks the line, feeds Petruzzelli, right circle, surveys the box, works it low, but a good stick from Jacob Laguerriere, ramps the puck out of play, and we'll have a whistle and a face-off into the right wing circle in the Fuel's defensive zone. A minute 51 to go on the penalty to Chaika. Graber, Bush, Petruzzelli, Kellen Jones, and Corcoran, the power play unit for Fort Wayne. Tommy Apap wins the draw cleanly to Cliff Watson, and he'll backhand it all the way down. Apap, Malone, Watson, and Laguerriere, the penalty killers for the Fuel. 5:20 to go as Corcoran goes back to get it from behind his own net. Corcoran, NHL contracted player to the Vegas Golden Knights, plays it back to Petruzzelli, to Graber, posted up the Fuel line, enters the zone, stops at the outside right hash. Sends it up to the right point for Corcoran. Over to the left side, Jones, back to Corcoran. Right circle, Graber, skates in. Feeds it up into the slot. Tommy Apap swung and missed, but on second effort was able to send it back into the Fort Wayne end. A minute 15 to go on the Komets power play. 4:50 to go in the game. Fuel lead by 2. Indy breaks up Fort Wayne's breakout as C.J. Ike chips it into the left wing corner of the Komets end. Corcoran goes back to get it. Rink-wide pass through the neutral zone to Kellen Jones. Sends it laterally across the blue line, and it's broken up nicely by Riley McKay and forced out to center. Fort Wayne changing behind the play as Kellen Jones settles it down at his own line with 4:27 to go in the game. Ahead to Germain. He'll wrap it in around the carousel to the left wing boards and in behind the net. And Teixeira tried to bring it out in front. It was forced free, taken away by Siebenauer. Up to Boudreau. right circle with 33 seconds to go on Fort Wayne's power play. Into the corner, sends it goalward. Cameron's able to stick it wide. Siebenauer shoots deflected wide of the goal. Boudria takes a hit from Teixeira, forces the puck free, and that allows Chad Yetman to backhand it all the way down the river. Comes in behind the Komets net, 14 seconds to go in their power play, 3:50 in the game. Murphy slowly ahead to Germain, stood up at the line, but Murphy takes the puck into the circle for Germain. His shot blocked out of play. 1 second remaining in Fort Wayne's power play. It's a good stick defensively by Cedric Lacroix. So Chaika's out of the box in 1 second. 3:39 to go in the game. The Fuel lead 3-1 on goals from Lacroix, Yetman, and Spencer Watson. Fort Wayne's goal from Sean Boudria. Will Graber to take the faceoff in the left wing circle in the Fuel's defensive zone. Tommy Apap out there with Seamus Malone for the Fuel. And the Komets win it. Back to the point. Shot blocked into the slot, and Seamus Malone hops on it. Chaika's out of the box. Malone gains center red, fires one in, it bounces on goal. Kind of fooled the goaltender Patera. He had to pick it up off the bounce, and he did not handle it cleanly and has to cover for a whistle with 3:28 to go. So a good penalty kill for the Fuel. Allows them to maintain this 2-goal lead over the Fort Wayne Komets. Offensive zone faceoff coming. Brent Gates out there with Jared Thomas and Spencer Watson. Gates to take the draw against Graber. Wins it to Spencer Watson. Sends it up at the point. Lee's one-timer goes wide. Thomas cycles it behind the net to the right wing boards for Spencer Watson. Back behind the net for Gates. King and Graber try to tie him up. Spencer Watson in to dig the puck free as well. Zach Tolkinen takes it for Fort Wayne with 3:10 to go. Sends it laterally to the point, but not out. Held in by Cliff Watson. He'll fire it through both corners all the way around, back out to neutral ice where Mike Lee takes it at his own line and turns it over. But this play should be way offside, but I'm not sure the puck ever exited the zone. So it stays on at Fort Wayne with a dangerous chance, but the pass a little too far for Petrozelli and ends up in the glove of Cale Morris. But the Fuel turned that over right at their own line, and it didn't exit the zone. Petrozelli was in way ahead of the play, but because the Fuel were the team that played the puck back into their zone, Petrozelli could be ahead of the play, and therefore it was not offside. And that puck came into the zone from a shot that caromed all the way around the boards and came all the way back to Mike Lee in his own zone. Fort Wayne wins the offensive zone draw. Kellen Jones working against two Fuel players in the corner. Tried to play it up the boards, but Seamus Malone in perfect positions, able to chip it past McIver back into the Komets end. 2:40 to go. Fuel lead by 2. We'll keep an eye as the goaltender Patera started to inch forward. Puck comes in behind the Fuel net. Chaika can't corral it, and C.J. Ike just sends it to safety back behind his own net. It's wrapped around. McIver pinches down to keep it alive, but Seamus Malone chips it out to the line, and C.J. Ike forces it further forward out to the neutral zone. Tommy Apap trying to collect the puck along the far boards, and does. Gets it as far as center red, where Boudria takes it. McIver gains the blue line, brings it into the Fuel zone, trying to shake off Laguerriere. Tried to wrap it forward. Laguerriere pokes it free, ahead to Malone. 2-on-2 across the line. Malone tries to hit the trailer and does. And the Fuel gain possession. Feeds Malone into the slot. His shot blocked and corralled by Fort Wayne. Softly played out to neutral ice. Germain feeds up the left side for Alvaro. He's forced wide. Cameron delivered a hit. And the Fuel get to the puck and are able to clear it, but not out. Siebenauer held it in at the right point. He shoots wide of the left post as he walked it down the boards. Fuel again can't clear. Murphy tried to send it goalward. It took a weird carom off the stanchion. It came right to the outside of the crease, but right back on goal. Morris was able to make the save and steer the rebound out of play. And now we've got pushing and shoving after the whistle. Germain and Cameron are tied up. Murphy then gets involved in that. The linesman trying to separate everybody. 90 seconds to go in the game. The Fuel lead 3-1, and Patera has still not left the Fort Wayne net. We'll see with an offensive zone draw here if Ben Boudreau uses his timeout. This team down 2. Cooler heads appear to have prevailed. Patera still in the goal. And there's still some talking after the play between McKay and Germain. And McKay is no stranger to the rough stuff. He and Blake Siebenauer had a fight earlier, and now Fort Wayne has used its timeout. I think Ben Boudreau was waiting as long as he possibly could and then used his timeout. So 90 seconds to go in the game. Fuel lead at 3-1. Cedric Lacroix in the first on the power play. Chad Yetman in the second. And here in the third, Sean Boudreau brought the Komets within 1 at 6:45 on a really nice play from below the goal line. And then the Fuel answered. Spencer Watson, his 100th professional goal from Jared Thomas. Giving the Fuel the 3-1 lead, and Indy, if they can close this out, 90 seconds away from snapping a 0-3-1 skid and evening the record here at home. And also move the Fuel temporarily 2 points clear of Iowa, with whom the Fuel are tied in the division. Right now, Iowa's trailing Wichita 2-1. That's the only other division team playing tonight. Back to action. 6 attackers on for Fort Wayne. Graber to take the draw in between Jones and Petrozelli. Boudreau is also on the inside of the circle. Murphy and Corcoran are the defensemen for Fort Wayne. Tommy Apap to take the draw for the Fuel. And it squirts free to Cliff Watson of Indy. Ahead to Seamus Ball. Turns on the Jets at center. Fires toward the empty net. Goes wide. Cliff Watson hops on the puck. Plays it up to Apap. Into the right wing corner. Corcoran settles it down. Takes it behind his own net. A minute 15 to go. The net is empty for Fort Wayne. Corcoran to wind it up on the breakout. Ahead to Petrozelli. He'll hammer it in. Morris stops the puck behind his own net. The forecheckers come pouring in. And it's spiked free along the near boards. Seamus Malone settles it down, lobs it to the Fort Wayne line. Murphy has to go back to get it with C.J. Ike in pursuit. He'll send it to an open wing. Kellen Jones through center for Fort Wayne. Headbands to Boudreau, posted up at the Fuel line. Softly in behind the net to Jones. Up to the left point for Murphy. He'll cycle it in again off back glass. It drops at the feet of Teixeira. He'll send it out all the way down. This will be an icing. 34.3 seconds to go. Third period. The Fuel trail 3-1. Doug Christensen stands up on the bench. Looks like he's trying to get the attention of his players on the ice. Of course, the Fuel cannot change because of the icing. Lacroix will take the draw against Bush. Face off in the left wing circle in the Fuel zone with 34.3 to go. Lacroix wins it cleanly. Teixeira down his own defensive slot. Can't get it out. Germain feeds it into the slot for a shot from Conjure. Save made. Rebound put just wide. And Karam's all the way into the Fort Wayne zone. 20 seconds to go as Siebenauer gains the Fuel line with speed. Puts on the brakes. Right circle. Looking, shooting, deflected wide. And the rebound Karam's all the way back down into the Fort Wayne end. In the final 10 seconds, the Indy Fuel are going to snap a 4-game skid as the clock ticks down to 3. Here's a shot toward the empty net and in. The Fuel score, Cedric Lacroix, his second goal of the game, as the Komets tried to rim it around, and Lacroix picked it off at the line and fired it toward the empty net. And Lacroix with the exclamation point on this one, his second goal of the evening, giving the Fuel a 4-1 lead with 1 second remaining in the game. Puck is down, and that'll do it. The Indy Fuel snap an 0-3-1 skid with a really complete performance tonight. Cedric Lacroix with a pair of goals. Spencer Watson with his 100th career goal. Chad Getman also scores as the Fuel are victorious tonight, 4-1 over the Fort Wayne Komets. The Fuel now lead the season series with Fort Wayne 2-1. And Cale Morris also with a tremendous effort in goal tonight, as he stopped 29 of the 30 shots he saw. So lead the Fuel to this 4-1 victory. Shots on goal in the third period, Fort Wayne with 14 for a total of 30. The Fuel with 11 for a total of 29. The Fuel victorious tonight, 4-1 over Fort Wayne. The Fuel moved to 5-9-2 on the season. Fort Wayne falls to 9-5-2. We'll await the announcement of the 3 stars. And our number 1 star will be ringside with Scott Allen momentarily. And tonight's number 3 star, Cale Morris. He was really good tonight. 29 saves for the Fuel goaltender, and getting his 4th victory of the season. Spencer Watson is the number 2 star, as he scored his 100th career goal tonight. And Chad Getman is the number 1 star tonight, as he had the game winner. The Fuel winning it 4-1 over Fort Wayne, and Chad Getman is ringside with Scott Allen.
Over to the microphone there. American Dairy Association winners, String Belt winners tonight. Boy, I'll tell you what, from the moment that puck dropped tonight, it seemed like we were really on fire. This team was ready to play.
Yeah, I think we deserved a win on Saturday night against them, so we came in with a little bit of fire, and we showed up to play, and that's what happened.
And one last bit of home cooking before we hit the road for a little while here, right?
Yeah, we don't mind that. A little bit of home cooking, I guess, and we'll hit the road this weekend. We'll be grabbing 4 points and then come back home.
Yep, get a bunch and then come back. We got Teddy Bear Toss in a couple of weeks. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Your number 1 star of the game tonight, fans, Chad Getman. Let's hear it for him.
It's Chad Getman with Scott Allen ringside as the Fuel knock off the Fort Wayne Komets 4-1. We'll take a break and be back with a happy recap right after this. You're listening to Indy Fuel Hockey.
This is Dr. Ram Yaleti, Chief Physician Executive at Community Health Network. I know that for a lot of you, COVID-19 has changed your day-to-day lives in some pretty dramatic ways. But as things are progressing, there's one thing we sincerely hope you'll continue to do just as before, and that's to seek medical care when you need it. So please, focus on getting the care you need, and we'll focus on keeping you safe while you do.
There's no safer place to be. Learn more at ecommunity.com. Stand by. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
During Happy Honda Days, discover the joys of the season with unforgettable trips in an Accord, Pilot, or HR-V. For a limited time, well-qualified buyers can get 1.9% APR on the 2021 Honda Accord and 0% APR on the 2022 Pilot or HR-V. Find your perfect Honda this season. Visit your local Honda dealer today or shop online.
This is my kind of holiday.
It's the Happy Honda Day sales event at your Central Indiana Honda dealers.
See dealer for financing details.
Don't miss a second of the action. This is Indy Fuel Hockey.
The Fuel knock off the Fort Wayne Komets 4-1 tonight. Andrew Smith along with you from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum as we recap this one. And it was really just a good performance, especially in the defensive zone for the Fuel, as they got the first goal, added on, allowed Cale Morris to see the puck, and he turned in a stellar performance tonight. And the Fuel found the back of the net 4 times. The last an empty netter in a 4-1 victory. Cedric Lacroix with a pair of goals tonight. He got the scoring started at 16-19 of the first period from Keone Teixeira on the power play, giving the Fuel a 1-0 lead. That goal coming off the rush. And one thing we saw last year was this Fuel squad was really good scoring power play goals off the rush. And they got another one there from Seti, and that got things started. And in the second period, Chad Getman, the trailer on an odd man rush, took a feed from Riley McKay and hammered home a one-timer for his 5th of the year at 9:22 of the second, giving the Fuel a 2-0 lead. That's where we stood through 2. In the third, Sean Boudria drew Fort Wayne within a goal at 6:45. His first career professional goal from Marcus McIver and Will Graber cut the lead to 2-1. And the Fuel had some anxious moments, but again, off the rush, Spencer Watson, the trailer, as Jared Thomas brought it into the zone. Brent Gates filled the center lane, occupied the defenseman, opened up the space for Spencer Watson, and he went bar down for his 6th of the year, 100 on his professional career. Spencer now with goals in back-to-back games, this one coming from Jared Thomas. And now Thomas has a 5-game scoring streak. He has a goal and 5 assists in that streak. That gave the Fuel a 3-1 lead. And then with 1 second left, Cedric Lacroix, his 2nd of the game, 4th of the year, unassisted, an empty netter, giving the Fuel a 4-1 victory. Mike Lee saw his scoring streak snapped at 5 games tonight, but he played a really solid game. And Jared Thomas, after really struggling to find the score sheet early in the year, has really turned it on here lately. As we mentioned, now a goal and 5 assists in his last 5 games, and on a bit of a streak. And that line with he, Brent Gates, and Spencer Watson, there's a lot of firepower on that line, and good to see them get rewarded. And then Chad Getman as well. He started out really, really strong, but had been held scoreless in his last 4 games, held without a goal in his last 7, and he scores tonight, his 5th of the year, and now has 14 points in 15 outings for the Fuel as well. And for Lacroix, it's his first 2-goal game of the season, and his goal tonight was his first since October. And so Seti getting back on the score sheet as well, as the Fuel victorious 4-1 over the Fort Wayne Komets. Shots were 30-29 in favor of Fort Wayne. On the power play, the Komets were 0 for 4. The Fuel were 1 for 2 with the man advantage. And for the Fuel, that snaps a string where they had allowed a power play goal in 5 consecutive games. And so that's a welcome string to snap if you're the Indy Fuel, as they held the Komets off the score sheet and really critically up too late. And Kirill Chaika went to the box for hooking, and the Fuel masterfully killed that one off. And then saw out the lead and added to it with Lacroix's empty netter to lead to the 4-1 victory. So that's a good punctuation mark on this stretch of 5 out of the last 7 here at home. And now the Fuel will hit the road for the next 4. They're off for the next 2 nights. Then Saturday they travel to Cincinnati. On Sunday they'll be in Wheeling, and then next weekend a Friday, Sunday in Cincinnati and Kalamazoo before the Fuel return home on December 17th to face the Cincinnati Cyclones, and then the Kalamazoo Wings on the 18th. And those are both special nights. On the 17th, that's a Friday night. It'll be the second night of Wintertainment. Also is an all-you-can-eat night on Friday the 17th. And the first 1,500 fans will receive a Nitro Snow Globe. That's courtesy of IBEW Local 481. And then Saturday night, December 18th, Teddy Bear Toss Night as the Kalamazoo Wings come to visit. And we are looking forward to seeing the K-Wings and seeing you here as well. And that's always a special night. Bring a brand new teddy bear or a stuffed animal. Throw it on the ice when the Fuel score their first goal Saturday the 18th against Kalamazoo. And all of those teddy bears will go to the WRTV 6 toy drive. And go to needy children in central Indiana. So we are looking forward to those games, and of course looking forward to the Fuel making some noise as well on this upcoming 4-game road trip before they'll play four of their last 5 here, or 4 of their last 6, I should say, here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum after they play that home weekend against Cincinnati and Kalamazoo. They'll travel to Kalamazoo on the 19th and then be off until Boxing Day when they'll head to Fort Wayne. And then on the 28th and 29th, the Norfolk Admirals will be here. And then we're taking it outdoors on New Year's Eve to Toledo and Winterfest up there in Toledo, and that'll be a 6 p.m. face-off on New Year's Eve outdoors at the Mud Hen Stadium, Fifth Third Field. And we're definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be a really special night on New Year's Eve. But tonight, a special one, too, is Spencer Watson hits a milestone. The Fuel snap a 4-game skid, move to 5-9-2 on the year, 4-4 here at home, knocking off the Fort Wayne Komets 4-1. Let's take one final spin at the out-of-town scoreboard. Newfoundland beat Reading 4-2, despite a pair of goals from the former Ice player Jacob Pritchard. Also tonight, Jacksonville shut out Orlando 5-0. Worcester beats Maine in a shootout 3-2. Liam Coughlin, former Fuel player, with a goal for the Railers in that one. Midway through the third, Florida leading at Trois-Rivières 4-3. Former Comet Olivier Gallipo with a goal for Trois-Rivières in that one. Norfolk leads Atlanta. The Norfolk Admirals lead Atlanta 2-1. That game with 90 seconds left in the third. In the second, late in the second, Wichita leads Iowa 2-1. And in the American Hockey League, 3-2, the Rockford Ice Hogs lead the Milwaukee Admirals 2-1. Evan Barrett and Isaac Phillips with the goals for the Ice Hogs in that one. And Malcolm Subban not faced a lot of action, just 10 saves on 11 shots in the Ice Hogs net. National Hockey League scoreboard, the Rangers over the Flyers 4-1. Former Blackhawk Artemi Panarin with a goal for the Rangers in that one. The Leafs, all of the Avalanche, 6-2 early in the third. Austin Matthews with a pair of goals for the Leafs. The Canucks over the Senators 4-1, also midway through the third period. The Red Wings lead the Kraken 3-2 midway through period number 3. And at the top of the hour, 2 games, the Golden Knights and Ducks, and the national game on TNT, the Penguins and Oilers. Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid will match up. The next game for the Blackhawks will be tomorrow night in Washington as they take on the Capitals. You can hear my broadcast partner and great friend Nick Olchek on the WGN radio call with John Weideman, as Nick will be handling the analyst duties with the Blackhawks, and certainly wish Nick well, and really proud of and really happy for Nick to get the opportunity to work and fill Troy Murray's very big shoes on the Blackhawks radio broadcasts. And so the Blackhawks begin a 4-game East Coast road swing tomorrow night in Washington. Here, the Fuel victorious 4-1 over the Fort Wayne Komets. Cale Morris with the win in net, making 29 saves. He was the 3rd star. Spencer Watson, the number 2, and Chad Yetman, the number 1 star, with the game-winning goal. Cedric Lacroix also a pair of goals in this one for the Fuel. Game witnessed by 1,524 fans here at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. The next game for the Fuel will be Saturday night in Cincinnati down at the Heritage Bank Center. Our next broadcast here on the audio stream at IndyFuelHockey.com, as well as on Flow Hockey. Of course, you can catch all the home and away games on Flow Hockey, but our next local broadcast will be on Friday, December 17th, as the Cincinnati Cyclones visit the Indiana Farmers Coliseum for a 7:05 p.m. puck drop. Nick Olchek and I'll be with you for that one as the Fuel take on the Cincinnati Cyclones. Airtime 6:45. So until then, this is Andrew Smith saying good night, so long, everybody. Our final score again from the Indiana Farmers Coliseum: the Indy Fuel 4, the Fort Wayne Komets